Hi, this is Matt, and today we'll be looking at using the Skype for Business optimization pack on a VMware Horizon environment. I've been joined by Gordon Cass from Igel, so I'll just let him introduce himself.
Hi there, Gordon Cass. I work for Igel. I've been in the thin client industry for about 10 years now for multiple thin client vendors. And here we're going to introduce you to the UD3 connecting to Horizon and testing Skype for Business with Matt.
So as I mentioned, we're picked the Skype for Business just to demonstrate the technology that we can use to offload the video and audio, so we get a great user experience, regardless of the endpoint. So for the purposes of today, the endpoint I'll be using is a Dell Precision 5510. That's running Windows 10 1803 build. I'm using the Horizon 4.8 client, and we're connecting back to a Horizon 7.6 environment, which is actually running out of our test drive demo environment, which is hosted in Amsterdam. Gordon, what device were you using for the purposes of the testing?
So we're going to be using our latest Igel UD3 Linux Thin Client. It's running the latest version of our firmware, which is 10.05.100, which came out last week. Included in this particular version of firmware, it's going to have the Horizon Client 4.8 with the optimization pack installed and ready to go.
Okay. And in terms of that optimization pack you mentioned in the client, is that out the box? If I have the latest firmware running, do I need to install anything else, or is that already there?
Yes, the latest version of our client with the optimization pack is always included in the latest version of our firmware that we release. Everything that is new and improved comes out in new versions of our firmware. There's no modular components that need to be installed. It's just straight out of the box.
Okay, excellent. On my laptop, I have the Windows Horizon client. As I mentioned, that's already configured back to the demo environment. It's a pretty straightforward configuration. I just need to point it at the URL of the test drive environment. But I thought it'd be a good opportunity for us to actually capture the configuration of the Igel device itself. That might be something that not everyone's seen. So what I'll do is I'll stop sharing and make sure you're co-host, which I believe you are. So if you can then share your screen. And then what we'll do is we'll then capture, that installation and that configuration of the Igel device. So over to you.
Fantastic, thank you, Matt. Here we have a out-of-the-box UD3 that I will configure locally to connect to the VMware View environment. We'll then connect to one of the desktops and then obviously showcase Skype. In order to set this up locally, we just click on the little spanner box down here, which is doing the startup. And don't be daunted by the amounts of settings that are available. You're not going to be using half as many of these. It's literally just going to be a couple of settings that are required. One thing that we literally have to do here is expand the sessions, and we need to create a little connection to the view environment. In that way, we'll just create a URL here, which is the Horizon EMEA VM.
So whilst you're typing that in, I'll just kind of reiterate, as I said at the start, this is our part of our test drive demo environment, which is kind of split into 3 geos. We're testing out of the Europe, so the EMEA geo, which is hosted out of Amsterdam. So we're based in an office in the UK at the moment, and from there you can anticipate you're going to get sort of 30-40 milliseconds of latency typically. So again, we'll see what the performance is like over a link that's got a little bit of latency. And I just saw there you were looking at some different protocol choices. Which did you select? I
selected last. Most of our clients nowadays always want to connect with the latest protocols. Again, within the VMware, you can select either to do it via RDP, PC over IP, or for that matter, VMware Blast. And that's, I think, the choice that we want to do today.
Okay.
There's not much else that needs to be configured here to get connected. One of the things that you are going to need to enable, but it is actually enabled straight out of the boxes under Unified Communications over here, is the Skype for Business. The virtualization pack is enabled by default, which is this little tick box over here. Any settings that are required within the UMS or within the Thin Client is literally just tick boxes that you need to do. At the end of the day, this is everything that we need. If I just click on the OK button, before your very eyes, you'll see the little Horizon client connecting, or the Horizon client's icon appear on the desktop, and then we will literally just connect in. Double click on the connection to the VMware test drive system. And then the password, and hopefully my fingers do not fail me. And we now have the availability of all the sessions available for me.
Okay, so based on your AD account and group membership, these are the applications and desktops you have access to.
That is correct.
And I think for the purposes, we could try and mix up a little bit. So perhaps you could, launch the RDSH desktop so we can show, an RD session host. And then if I launch, say, the Windows 10 desktop from my device, we can have a kind of that cross-platform test as well. So it's an RDSH session to Windows 10.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, okay. So if you launch the desktop connection now, and then whilst that's launching, we'll leave that going in the background. And essentially what we'll do then is, we're sat in the same room at the moment, so we'll just pause recording temporarily. We'll flick across to my laptop screen, and I'll move to another room so that we can then trigger that connection and do the testing of the Skype for Business connection. Okay, so I've moved to a different room from Gordon now, so I'm going to connect to my virtual desktop and do a Skype call with him. So what I've got here is the Horizon client running on my Windows 10 laptop, and I've just previously launched a Windows 10 virtual desktop. As I mentioned earlier, this environment's based in Amsterdam, so we've got a little bit of latency on the line. Also, we found that we've tested a number of screen recording applications to obviously capture this experience, to share it and put it into this video. And unfortunately, they're not that representative of the quality of audio and video that we're seeing on the screen with our own eyes. So there seems to be a little bit of lag. So what I've done is I've installed a product called Debut, just in trial mode, which seems to have a high-speed gaming mode. So that seems to capture it a little bit better than some of the other tools we've tested, but it's still not perfect. So please bear in mind that when you're watching this video, we've been hindered a little bit by sort of the environment. The fact it's a demo environment, and we're not on a LAN, and we're not, necessarily using the sort of latest components of everything. That coupled with sort of the quality of the screen recording software. So not really trying to make excuses, but just trying to get you to understand that this is kind of like a demo environment. It's not fully production. Therefore, you would probably, more than likely get better experience in a real world environment. So that said, I'm just going to call Gordon. Full screen mode.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Gordon. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, good yourself?
Yeah, good. Apologies for the lighting. Obviously, I've moved room to make this call, and it's not perfect, but yeah, we'll carry on.
No worries.
Obviously, this is just a follow-on from the for the first part of the video we just shot. We've moved to parts. Obviously, we can do the call and demonstrate the technology.
Yeah.
So really, I guess, just in terms of reflecting back on what we've done, we went through the configuration of that Igel UD3 terminal that you're connecting in from. Obviously, we configured it manually, and we did that for a reason. We did that to show everyone how simple it was, how straightforward it was, and the typical configuration. But, if I was deploying 500, 1,000, 2,000 of the devices, would there be a better, easier way to do that?
Oh, yes, it would. You've got a couple of ways to do that. What you can do is you can take the existing device you've configured locally. You can pull the configuration profile directly from that device, save it to the UMS server, and then deploy that as a configuration profile to all other devices. So effectively, every single device has been configured the same way. Or for that matter, if you prefer to actually create a brand new profile from the UMS server, create all the configurations that you want and access to your Horizon environment with the UK keyboard, and then deploy that again via the folder system, just like Active Directory. Inheritance will take place, and in that way, it's a lot easier to manage your endpoints.
Okay, excellent. So really, I've got one more question, and it's sort of a two-parter. You mentioned
Right.
the UMS server there. So first part of the question is that a Windows server? Is that a Linux server? What is that? And then the second part is, does that need to be a physical server, or is this just another virtual machine?
Right, okay. First of all, no, you can either have it installed on a Windows environment or a Windows server, or for that matter, Linux. So it depends on what your preference is. So again, it can be a virtual server if you want. Most of our customers have chosen for the virtual server for it to be a virtual server. But again, it's up to the customer. If they want to install it on a physical server, there's no issues with that at all.
Okay, excellent. Sounds good. That's what I like: choice and flexibility. So
exactly.
Okay, so I think we've sort of, demonstrated the technology. We've shown the, the Horizon virtualization optimization pack for Skype, embedded in Windows 10 VDI, and obviously, making a connection from a desktop device across to a thin client. So I just want to obviously say thanks for your help and your time and investing in what we've tested here. And I'll speak to you soon.
Fantastic. Take care now.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so there you go. In summary, you can see there that we just demonstrated the technology. As I said, a couple of challenges, but all in all, it kind of showcases the technology and showcases how vendors like Igel are taking that technology that we release, embedding into their thin clients and producing solutions. So thanks for your time, and hope you found this video useful.